everyone, and welcome back to the second live of day 4 of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. I'm excited today to bring on Fruity Eva. We're going to be getting into creating a vegan/fruit-based business. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of us here in the bundle are doing just that and sharing all of our passions and things that we are growing and flowing with, and want to share that all with you. If you don't know by now, the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is going on. It's the big promotion of the year. Just once a year. That's it. Fruity Eva's a part. She's got her cinnamon buns in the group book. The group book, it's awesome. It's only available in the bundle. After the bundle, it's gone and will not be released anywhere else. So you're going to want to check that out. It's in either of our links in profile. She has her cinnamon buns in there. They're really amazing. Let's see if she's in here. And I see that request. Let's get flow, and we'll try our darned best to answer them for you. And going right into the subject of creating a business around raw food and veganism. Hey Eva, how you doing?
Hey, it's so nice to hear from you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty darn good, I gotta say. Yourself?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited to be to have this conversation today.
Heck yeah.
Super excited about it. And yeah, so I mean, probably I don't know if you have already told the audience what we're going to talk about today, which is like about
Indeed.
business and raw vegan business, because I look up to you so much
Aw.
because you've been you've been like in this business for so many years, and you've influenced so many people, you helped so many people. And what I think is the coolest about it is that you're so positive and it feels like you enjoy it. And I think that's so admirable.
Oh, I appreciate that a ton. You know, I have been doing it full time for, I think it's been 15 years now, almost 15 years now. And there
Yeah.
have been times where it's been like the easiest, most natural thing in the world. And there's been other times where I haven't enjoyed it or it's been challenging, you know, like any kind of business, it goes in waves, you
Yeah.
know. But I feel definitely incredibly blessed to live through my passions and to be able to help people. And if I ever have a doubt when I hear people saying like, oh, you changed my life, or the lifestyle that you're presenting has helped me change my life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's no greater gift, you know. So I feel really blessed by it. I feel really blessed by you and everyone coming together with Lissa and I for this Raw Vegan Bundle family, and
Yeah.
just spreading this mission out here, you know, because the world really needs this information. Well, Bubbles.
Exactly. Yeah. And I wanted to ask, like, what was your inspiration for saying, okay, I like that is what I want to do professionally? Because it's one thing to do it more as a hobby, and it's another thing to actually commit to it and say, okay, I want to do it and earn money from it. What was your inspiration for that?
Wow, that's a big question, you know. But it really was just divine kind of inspiration, to be honest. It's
Mm.
really wild, you know, like ever since I remember, like I don't remember life before skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I won't go crazy into that, but I genuinely don't. I started when I was 5 years old. I might have like a glimpse of like a potato race, like in a
Mm.
potato sack. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
But for all of my youth and my teenage years, and I guess technically into my early 20s, my view was always skateboard, 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 skateboard. I want to be like, in the beginning, it wasn't that I wanted to be a professional skateboarder. I just
Mm.
wanted to skateboard, and eventually got to a point where I wanted to be a professional. And that led me into, unfortunately, like drinking and smoking and partying, you know, in my late teens when I moved out, and I kind
Mm.
of fell apart physically, mentally, emotionally, and I needed
Yeah.
something, and I turned to yoga, and yoga helped me a ton. You know, I started that in 1999, Rodney Yee VHS tape in a Walmart $1 bin, and you know, after doing that for a bit, I started researching yogic literature, and it talked about vegetarianism and about how food
Mm.
has an impact on your mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. And I was just, wow, like what? I thought this was a pleasure tube, just throw everything in it, you know, and a new passion was born, nutrition.
Yeah.
So it was like skateboarding, yoga, nutrition, you know, and in the mix there before all that was even spirituality. I was reading like you know, Celestine prophecies and, you know, like Don Juan books and stuff like that, all this fun stuff. But this long answer kind of leads me into saying it was through learning about nutrition that I then started finding stuff about raw food. You know, like the first big book I found on nutrition was called Fit for Life by
Mm-hmm.
Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. Amazing book. I recommend everyone see it. But it basically outlines like a high raw lifestyle, but also points towards raw foods and fruit being the center of the diet and being a holistic diet and lifestyle, and that totally, like when I read that book, I was like, boom, like this is crazy. That I'm A-type. I was like, this is it. I started eating fruit for breakfast. Since then, that was in like 99 too. So I've been eating fruit for breakfast for 25 years now, and I think I've
Oh
had like
wow.
probably 5 cooked breakfasts in 25 years. I'm not even kidding. And I just was like, and over a 4.5, 5 year period, I continually added more and more fruit and raw foods into my lifestyle and started letting
Mm.
go of things. It wasn't like I must go here immediately. It was a transition. But the more I learned, the more and more I realized that raw fruits and vegetables were the number one health foods. And
Yeah.
I know this is a long answer, but it's going to cut short soon, I promise. Uh,
No, no, I
but
love it.
but
I
what ended
love
up
it.
happening was I was still doing this all for skateboarding. Like I was
Yeah.
doing it because I wanted to feel better, of course, and be
Yeah.
more connected because all that stuff was important. And I started getting woken up to like, vegetarian veganism and stuff, but it was still really for skateboarding. And I was thinking about becoming a vegan chef because I didn't want to handle meats and stuff like that. But there's
Hmm.
no vegan chefing schools that I could find in 2003. And I
Yeah.
guess it was 2002, 2003, one in France, but they needed you to also touch meat and do other stuff. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So instead, I opted for a holistic nutrition course. And it was during that course, 6 months in, like basically when I started that course in 2003, is when I went high raw vegan. I was basically eating fruit till dinner. At that time, it wasn't
Yeah.
raw till four, it was just I was eating raw food until dinner. And
Yeah.
I noticed huge gains. I was feeling amazing. And in the middle of that schooling in early 2004, there was a vegan health festival, and there was three raw vegan speakers, and one of them was Dr. Doug Graham. And I met him, and he was just glowing. He blew my mind and my heart open. I was just like, wow, this guy's got something I'm looking for. He was so clear. He made so much sense, and he was literally glowing. Like he was just like it was amazing. And yeah, the next day I went raw, and that's it, right there. That was when it shifted. That was when all of a sudden my heart center burst open. I was walking down the street crying, just feeling like
Yeah.
so connected with everyone and connected to purpose. At that point, I was like, skateboarding's amazing. I'm gonna always do it, or at least, as long as I can. I love it, but this is what I need to share. I need to connect with people about how big of an impact a holistic lifestyle and raw food makes, and ever since then, I knew that this is what I wanted to do, but it took me almost 5 years of applying a raw food diet and going through my own personal kind of struggles and
Yeah.
challenges and ups and downs and a relationship that basically ended because I wanted to do this. She didn't want me to do this. She wanted me to do other stuff
Yeah.
and eat cooked food with her and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
nope, this is what I'm here for on this planet. And so that's over
Exactly.
15 years ago, and I've been doing it full time since. I haven't had another job for the last 15 years.
That's so cool. That's so inspiring because for me, always like the diet is already like some years and it's my biggest passion.
Mm.
But now I finished university and now I'm kind of like still in the process of not being super sure if I should fully commit. So I'm
Yeah.
still trying it out. But it's also important too because right now I do also a lot of therapy and I'm
Yeah.
not sure maybe I should maybe I should go in that direction. But I think it's also important to sometimes like have it not like a clear path, but also
Mm.
sometimes go a little bit left and right because in the end all of those things they will lead you to what you're meant to do. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, who knows? Maybe we're not meant to do any one thing. We can wear many hats and do many things. And,
exactly. Yeah,
50 years ago, the average person would only have one career, maybe two max in their lifetime.
exactly.
Whereas nowadays, people can have like 6, 7, 8 careers, like,
Yeah,
I'm a raw food chef. I'm a raw food coach. I'm an entrepreneur. I do a whole bunch of different things. I teach yoga, I do festivals, I
yeah,
do retreats, help friends. But for me, anyways, the more hats I can wear within this realm, the more I love it. If I
yeah,
was just raw food chef and that's the only thing I did, I would have burnt out. I wouldn't have liked it. I couldn't imagine
exactly.
doing that. But
Yeah, exactly. Because I think what is so fascinating about what you do is that you wear so many hats and you can be creative and you can learn. Because for me, like I did a job in the past at a company, and in the beginning it was fun, but at one point I just learned it, and then I was just like a robot repeating it,
Yeah.
and I felt like, oh, it's not my thing. So I think that's so cool that you do something where you can continuously learn,
Mm.
and that's really, really great. But also, like you talked about that your past relationship ended because of your passion. So what were some challenges with the business side of this lifestyle, or with your professional career path, or
Well, I mean, with that relationship, you're meaning more specific with the career path, with like once I started doing it, not necessarily before. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I would say
So
so.
when I first started, I guess that would have been 2009. My challenge was I had no money, like zero
Yeah.
money, zero knowledge about business or
Yeah,
like internet and technical stuff.
yeah,
I actually don't really love technical stuff or
yeah,
computers. I was like the
same
last
as
person I know to get on social media. I resisted all of this kind of stuff, to be honest. And I mean, I was used to making very little money. Like even in my teens when I moved out from my parents' house and stuff, I'd on average make like 7 grand a year and managed to live off of that. So when I started my business, I mean, I had no overhead, and no technical skills. I just had a lot of passion and a lot of knowledge, and
yeah.
I was youthful and excited and in the right time at the right place. So my parents, really, to be very honest, I wouldn't be here without them, figuratively as well as realistically, right? But
Mm,
with the business, I wouldn't because for the first, I think, 3 or 4 years of starting the business, I lived in the basement and they
yeah.
mostly paid for my food. I still bought some, but they still mostly paid for my food. I was rent free.
Mm.
And I worked my ass off. And the funny thing is, like, I really did. Like, I was working, like, at certain points of that, like, I'd be working, like, 10 plus hours, 6 days, 7 days a week sometimes, and
Yeah,
I was still skating and stuff when I could, but
but
I was
still,
working so much. And it was just
yeah.
because I had no technical skills. Like, I mean, I set up my entire my friend Jason. He helped me make 2 pages on my website, a blog page and a home page,
Mm-hmm.
and I built the rest of my website myself, and started offering myself up as a coach. And I wrote my first ebooks by myself and launched them, and yeah, before I knew it, though, it started to snowball. All that time and energy and effort got noticed, and people invited me to chef at festivals and to teach and speak at festivals. And it slowly grew from there to the point where, I mean, now I have a little bit of a team, and I, pay them to do some stuff I don't
Mm.
want to do, and
Yeah.
that makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, that's awesome. But it's so fascinating, and you hear it a lot that a lot of people who start a business first, they just know nothing, and
Yeah.
then just step by step they have to figure it out. And yeah, for me too. Like I think I'm still in those stages of course, of like figuring it out, but also I think that because you need to first figure out, okay, that is the plan, and then also figure out what do you actually enjoy and what fits you too, because what works, that, or at least that's what I noticed, what works for one person when it comes to business advice doesn't work for another person, because you're so different.
Yeah.
And there's so different business models too, like you do retreats and coaching and ebooks, and I think Lisa, for example, from Rough with Romance, she focuses more on
Yeah.
ebooks and digital products.
Mm.
So yeah, but I think that's also the amazing thing about it, that you can cater it to your personality in a way. And
That-
if you work in a corporate job, you at least in some positions you cannot really put your personality into it.
yeah.
And yeah, with entrepreneurship you can, yeah, put your personality into it. That's super,
Can
super
do it
cool.
how really you can do it however you like,
Yeah,
and that is
yeah,
the blessing of it as well, because if everyone did it in the exact same fashion, well, it is not quite as fun and it's going to appeal to a certain group, but
yeah,
everyone putting their own spin on things and their own energy into things, it's going to resonate with different people. And there's a lot of people
exactly.
out there, right? And they all are looking for different things and different people and connect with different people, so
Yeah.
it just makes it fit more people for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I love that mindset. And I also think that the more people, because probably now some people are watching who have been doing the raw food diet or vegan lifestyle for some time, and they also want to help other people, and they think, I'm not sure. There are already some people who are like coaches. It's already so full. But as you said, like each person is so different, and for me, there are probably some people who want to work with me and some people who don't want to work with me, and that's natural. So I think the more people who spread like that vegan message, raw food message, the better. So I think for those of you who are watching and not sure if you should start a business with like veganism or raw veganism, let it be you want to open a coffee shop or you want to become a coach or whatever it is, I think, yeah, just do
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
100%,
would say
because
so.
you could look at it and like, I mean, you could see the raw vegan bundle here that we're both a part of, right? And
Yeah,
go like, oh
yeah,
wow, there's a lot of people already doing this, and it's like, wait a second, like, don't look at the group, look at the world. Like there's like we're like less
exactly.
than 1/10% of the population, like way less than that
Yeah,
for raw foodists, right? So like, the world needs it. Like I said, like
yeah,
really, this
needs it.
information needs to get out there, and for me, that's kind of what it came to too. I was just like, there's nothing in this world I'd rather do. I'm like, this is it, and it doesn't have to be that way, of course. This can be a side passion, it can be a
Yeah,
part-time job, it can just be a passion project, and but either way, if it's something you enjoy, if it's something you're passionate about and you enjoy talking about, it's such a joy to spread. And
exactly.
like you said, it doesn't have to be coach or chef, like whether it's a restaurant or a clothing line or, just
Yeah,
informational stuff. There's so many different avenues you can go within the vegan and raw food niche for sure.
yeah. And I wanted to ask, what is actually something that you enjoy most? Or do you have something that you enjoy most? Maybe retreats or maybe creating ebooks? Or is there something specific? Or do you say everything has its own benefits?
It's really funny. Like the thought of doing most of the things I don't like, and then when I'm doing them is my favorite thing in the world. So my brain is really weird that way. Like the thought of doing a retreat creates stress because it's mostly the thing I don't like, and this is the opposite of what you asked. But like
Yeah,
of advertising it and making sure it fills up. I don't really love that at all. But when I'm
yeah,
actually at the retreat
it's
and with the
amazing.
people, that's what I love. And it's the same thing even with like lives and stuff. Sometimes like, oh gosh, like a little bit of nerve
Yeah,
and putting a time aside and scheduling time. I guess that's one thing I don't really love is scheduling time aside. But when I'm in it, it's like the best thing in the world. And consultations, actually, I'd have to say probably it is tough. Consultations or retreats or live. I mean, all of it. I love all of those things a lot. But the consultations can be one of the most rewarding things ever for sure.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, and I mean, I love to hear when people say they tried my recipes or they read my book and they loved it. I mean, that feels good, but the actual technical side, I mean, I already kind of mentioned technical
yeah,
stuff
me
isn't
too.
it's not
Me
really my
too.
favorite, but once it comes together and then people are enjoying it, it's like the best thing. So it's always worth the time, energy, and effort, you know?
That's true. That's true. I think it's so important to find because there's no perfect person, there's no perfect job. You have
Mhm.
to just find what for the most part works for you.
Yeah.
And there is a comment. Do you see it?
Yeah, yeah. So
Ah,
is veganism for everyone? Well, I mean, I'll answer first, and then you can answer as
yeah,
well. Um, I mean, a vegan diet can be helpful for anyone who wants to be on a vegan diet, and that's their aim, or they feel compassion in their hearts, and they feel like it's a choice that resonates with them.
yeah,
I mean, even the biggest health associations in the world have shown that a vegan diet can be not only healthful but beneficial for reducing and reversing our number one killers in the world.
mm,
And then, of course, it's compassionate and amazing. And then her second part. Do you want to add anything to that before we go to the
uh,
second part?
I would say veganism is for everyone. I
Yeah.
think also I recently got a comment or something, someone was commenting on a YouTube video of mine who was saying, yeah, but this person had to start eating meat
Mm,
for whatever. And I completely disagree. Like
yeah.
if you look at our digestive system and our anatomy, like humans are meant to be for veganism. Like humans are meant to eat dairy or milk or other animals. So yeah, veganism is for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, I agree. And I mean, the caveat there is like if someone genuinely doesn't want to, I mean, they don't have to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I would wish that everyone did want to,
Yeah.
but we are designed to thrive on plant foods, and whether that includes a teeny bit, like there's nuance there, people could argue
Yeah.
about that
Nuance.
forever. but the reality is everyone can thrive as a vegan. Being a coach for the last 15 years and studying nutrition for over 25 years now,
Yeah,
I can very, very honestly say I've never seen a case of someone having to leave veganism. Any
yeah,
diet can be done in such a way where it's not healthful. And, veganism is the same. Raw veganism is the same.
yeah,
Just because you eat raw foods doesn't mean you're doing it in a healthy way. And
yeah,
somebody can
exactly.
do it in an uninformed
Yeah,
way and not reach out to people who know what they're doing to get advice, but instead fall into people who are naysaying and saying, oh my God, well, it's because of this,
yeah,
and succumb to pressure or social kind of pressures or fears or their own desire that they actually wanted to eat those things. They weren't
exactly,
in veganism for for the right reasons, right?
exactly.
Um, but
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't think a lot of people are saying they regret it, but
yeah,
there are a fair number of people who definitely they didn't do it in a way that was healthful,
yeah,
or
I
they weren't
agree.
really doing it for the right
Mhm.
reasons. And
Yeah,
at some point when it wasn't either trendy or working for them because they weren't doing it in the right way that really works,
yeah,
then they fell off and try and make it a big thing like, oh well, it's because of this, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a bunch of hooey.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree completely. I think that some people, they, for example, try the raw vegan diet
Mm.
and they don't really have the right information. They
Yeah.
don't really, maybe they don't consume Chris content, so they don't really know how to do it. And then
Mm.
they don't eat enough calories. They
Yeah.
like lose a lot of weight. They don't have energy. And then they say, oh, the raw vegan diet doesn't work. But you really have to differentiate between doing the lifestyle correctly and actually learning how to do it, which takes time and practice, and just, yeah, doing it wrong. You can do it wrong, unfortunately. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah, not in a way that's going to be helpful. And I like that you said lifestyle, because that's the thing too. Somebody
yeah,
can come into the diet and have no social life and be
yeah,
a stressed person and not sleep well. And
exactly,
no diet is going to make up for those lacking lifestyle factors. So it is a holistic
exactly.
lifestyle. And
Yeah,
I've never seen a lifestyle that lightens people up more or brings more joy or
yeah,
enthusiasm or connection.
yeah,
It's it's an amazing, amazing thing.
yeah.
So I
And
don't
I
want to get go ahead.
yeah, and I just wanted to add, it's also something that usually you have to really invest time and effort to learn how to do it. It's not something that you can do like in one day, boom,
Yeah,
you're a raw vegan. So, and I think that's something that people underestimate, the amount
yeah,
of effort and learning and studying. So you just have to like learn how to do the lifestyle if you have never, like before I became like mostly raw vegan, or vegan or vegetarian, I grew up with a really bad diet, so I had to unlearn a lot of things. I had to
yeah,
relearn and unlearn and learn just how to make healthy meals. So it's a process that does take time. And I think maybe some
absolutely.
people, they have maybe the idea, okay, I will just go raw vegan like that in a week, and if it doesn't work in a week, then the lifestyle doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just
Yeah,
takes some time.
they don't realize that shining this bright of a light within causes all the shadows to come up. It's like all
Yeah,
the skeletons in your closet, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, they come up to be seen, to be heard, to
yeah,
be felt, to be experienced, to be explored. And if you're not ready for that, take it slow. Don't go all of a sudden into super detox mode nonstop, trying to get
yeah,
to raw food purity in 1 week. It is a journey. There's mentioning isn't the lifestyle. How do people adjust to it in such a hustle? I mean, I think the fun thing about the raw food lifestyle, we have the bundle here, right? And it's like nonstop recipes, nonstop
mm,
support from people who have been living this, their insights, the things that they've learned and grown through. And it's like so powerful to learn from others who've been walking that walk and who have made
yeah,
it easy.
exactly.
And there's books on busting cravings, and there's books on like Tales from the Tailgate, making it easy when you're on the road. And then there's books about really, really simple raw food. So it's like you just pick up fruit and you eat it. And there's books on nutrition, knowing how you exactly get enough and get more nutrients and what nutrients are
Exactly.
important. And
Yeah,
so, and then raw desserts. I mean, there's tons of raw food desserts in there too.
yeah,
It's ridiculous. The bundle really covers a lot of that ground, and
yeah,
it is a journey. And a lot of us are coaches too. So if
yeah,
people really
yeah,
want to learn, they can reach out.
exactly. Yeah, I would highly recommend to invest in like buying recipe ebooks and buying books about the raw food diet, because yeah, many people, and I had to, have a lot of limiting beliefs around it, that a raw food diet has to be complicated and takes too much time. But if we really like learn how to make simple recipes. It doesn't have to be so complicated. And if you
No.
like Chris, you have been doing it way longer than me, but me also already some time. Like life has ups and downs,
Yeah.
but if you stick to a raw vegan or mostly raw vegan diet, you learn that there are so many different phases in life. Like sometimes you're good, you have a lot of time, sometimes you don't have any time, but you can still manage. Like it doesn't take so much time to peel a banana and eat it, or
I think
yeah,
it's the fastest, easiest diet around. I mean,
exactly.
I actually, I mean, I'm a chef and I feel bad saying it, but I don't like to spend much time in the kitchen these days, you
Now
know.
we also,
And like you said, there's cycles. There's periods of time where I love it. I'm in there and I'm
me
making new
too.
recipes and stuff. But
Yeah,
right now, I just want to get food and eat it and then live my life. You know, I'm eating raw food to live the most energy-filled, enjoyable life I can, not to be in the kitchen making food all the time. And you know, I know
yeah,
we're selling a bundle, but you know, I think there's room for all of that,
I
and it's
agree.
powerful having this information and these recipes so you can choose, you know,
Yeah,
do it quick and get it done, or
yeah,
spend time and make something amazing for a special occasion or when you feel like you need something
exactly.
extra.
Yeah, I agree. That's also what I noticed. I go through phases. So I was in a phase like 2 years ago where I was trying a lot of like more complicated recipes. And now I'm also super simple. So yeah, like in the bundle, it's something for everyone, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
Mm,
from the simplest of the simple, we got Arnold Kaufman's "This
amazing.
Recipe Book Sucks," and the one page of it says, like, that's the title, "This Recipe Book Sucks," and it says most people will think this recipe book sucks, but the 0.1% that know that nature's gifts are the perfect food for us will love
Yeah,
this recipe book, and it's
exactly.
simple 1 to 5 ingredient recipes, you know, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. Diana's saying that she's now eating recipes from the bundle. Thank
Oh,
you,
that's
Diana. I hope you really
awesome.
enjoyed that. That's a ton. Thank you for the love. Realtor for real. I'm 90% plant-based for the last 2 years. I love it. Do you both take any supplements? Ooh, uh-oh.
Good
Oh.
question.
Should
Do you
should I
take
get my
supplements?
should I take out my my shelf of supplements and show you all the supplements I need to take? Oh wait, no, there is one. I take vitamin
I
B12. That's the only supplement I
haven't
take.
tried. Yeah, and right now I don't take any because I did a test and I was like everything was okay. So I'm like no need. But I know like if one day if I would feel bad and yeah, maybe I would get checked and then if I see okay, for example, I'm low in vitamin B12 or something,
Mm,
I think then I would supplement. I think that people make like this huge deal about it,
yeah.
about like supplements and everything, but I would say like if you feel low or if you really go to a doctor and you get yourself checked and you're low, you can always supplement. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I didn't supplement for the first like zero supplements for the first 10 years on the diet,
Yeah,
but over the last 4 years of that 10 years, I saw my B12 levels
getting
go
low.
low, low,
Yeah.
low until I
Mm.
became deficient and symptomatic. And then I was like, okay, and then I
Yeah,
switched it up and then I've always been good since then. And a lot of people don't really realize people on every single diet supplement. You know,
yeah,
like if you're even if you don't take supplemental pills, the meat and dairy industry is completely supplemented with B12 and a whole
exactly.
and like
Mhm.
what's it called, antibiotics and a whole bunch of other supplements to try and keep those animals healthy. And
Yeah,
then also most processed foods, if you eat any processed foods, almost all of it has some supplemental forms of nutrition because otherwise it would be so lacking that you'd become deficient in all these
yeah,
things, right? So
yeah,
um, yeah, but B12 is a neat one. It's not even a food-borne nutrient; it's a bacterial-borne nutrient. So that's why, you know, if we were living in nature and you know not using toilet paper and drinking from streams and
yeah,
you know
exactly.
not cleaning so much, then we wouldn't even need that. But that's a good
Yeah.
question.
Mm.
Now I'm getting almost stuck in the scroll here. I go through a page. I'm just going to quickly check.
I
Okay,
have
good.
more
No,
questions,
yeah, there isn't more here.
actually.
So you go, and then if other people want to ask questions, they can, of course.
Okay, perfect. So one question that I had actually, and that was like, where did you get your business advice? Did you have a mentor or did you get courses? Because I think for at least for me, it's like there's a difference between studying nutrition and
Yeah,
actually studying, okay, this is how you sell and this is
yeah,
marketing. And for me too, like when I started, I was just like, oh my God, this lifestyle is so cool. It changed my life. I want to help other people. And
yeah.
then over time, I realized, okay, I have to sell this. And yeah, it's just how did you learn it? Like,
Yeah.
did you do a course or was it just trial and error?
You know, for me, it was just trial and error. and I have had some business coaches and also some motivational coaches that I've worked
Yeah.
with a little bit. Like I met one business coach for one day, and I've went through some courses and stuff like that. But you know, the funny thing is, I sometimes when people ask me to do business talks, I almost think like, man, I'm not the one to ask. But
Yeah.
but again, we went back to how like there's so many different ways of doing it, and the way I do it fits
Yeah.
me really well. But the funny thing is, like, I'm allergic to business. I'm allergic to professionalism. I just like to
Yeah.
be me and have fun.
Yeah.
And I only like to promote things that I really enjoy and that I use in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I used to be a salesman. I worked at skateboard shops, and I was the
Mm.
best salesman if it was something I
Yeah.
liked. And it's the same. I worked at an organic grocery
Me too.
store, and I by far sold more, you know, like relief funds to Katrina. When that was like in 2003, when I was before I was started my business and stuff like that. But
Mm.
like I was good at it if I believed in it. That's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
right? So I
Exactly.
believe in this lifestyle so much, so I share the stuff I'm really genuinely excited about. I love teaching people about this lifestyle,
Yeah.
and through different cycles of the last 20 years, I've been more and less excited about creating new recipes. And when I'm in that creative spell, I try and utilize that and make new
Yeah.
kind of recipes and content, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember because I once worked in a bakery. That was some years ago. And I mean, I was already like on a healthy lifestyle and vegan and like raw vegan. And I was like selling bread. And I was so bad because like the bread was not like super healthy one, but really like
mm,
processed. So I was like, no, or like people with like already super overweight and then you give them a lot of like bread and I'm like no. So yeah, I agree. I think that's the best thing that you can do is to work for something that you're passionate about and that you know it will help people and will have a positive impact on others.
mhm.
That's super super cool.
Yeah, something that's kind of just fun to recognize. If there's something you're passionate about that you've been spending time learning about, you're more knowledgeable than most people on it. So
Yeah.
it can be fun to share that. So even if we feel like, oh, maybe we don't know the absolute most out of anyone in the world,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of people out there that I know that know more than I do. I mean, we got
Yeah.
Dr. Rick and Karen Dina who are part of the bundle here, and they're incredibly knowledgeable. And
Incredible.
I
Yeah.
continually try to learn more from those who I know more. And you know, I've taken their course, Mastering Raw Food Nutrition, which I highly recommend. It's really, really good. And I mean, Dr. Doug Graham, I mean, he's my main mentor, and I've known him for
Yeah.
since I started. I met him and went raw the next day, and we still talk. And I've done retreats with him and festivals and spoken from the same stage, and we've co-written books together now. And you know, it's just I don't know, it's just so amazing. You know, the more you learn, the more you can share, and the more you can learn from others. And it's just a never-ending cycle of being
Yeah.
student and at times teacher and at times just, you know, friend sharing information.
I love that so much. And one thing that you said specifically really is so important for me to remind myself because I'm also sometimes I fall into that, oh, because it is easy for me, because I have done it for so many years, it doesn't mean that it is like easy for other people
Mhm.
because I already learned a lot of things in that specific area. So for me it's easy. And then I think people don't need to learn it, but no, people need to learn it because they just start out. And it's the same with, for example, someone loves finance and then
Mhm.
they spend a lot of years in finance and for them it's easy, but still like for their client they have to learn it from zero. So
Yeah.
yeah, as you said, like only because something is easy for you, you can still teach other people
Yeah.
because maybe they struggle with
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. And I think an important thing, and this is a little bit, it's not off topic, but it's going a little bit further. Like if you are a coach or something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
knowing that it's okay to not know. I think
Yeah.
that's probably one of the best advice that I ever got, you know, and it
Yeah.
actually if you just pretend to know everything and you know you don't accept or admit when you don't know something,
Mm.
people can tell, and if they find out later, they'll never want to come back to you, you know, and
Yeah.
it's always nice to refer out and to share, and I always refer out to people that if I don't know, you know, I like go to Dr. Rick or go to Dr. Graham or Tim Trader or you know some of these people that even have double the experience that I do, you know, and
Yeah.
I think that's
I
really
love
good.
I love that so much. And also for me, that's also what I have to remind myself. Like you don't have to be perfect. Like even if you're in a position such as being a therapist or a coach or whatever, you still are a human being. So you're still allowed to make mistakes. Obviously depends on the mistake, but you're still allowed to be flawed in some ways, and I struggled a lot with that. And now I think I'm getting better at like accepting my flaws, even if I'm in a position to help people in a specific area. That I'm still, it's okay to make mistakes. So
What's
yeah,
your favorite thing about a fruit-based and raw food kind of based business?
the
What do you enjoy
business
the most?
I enjoy the most. I think I'm naturally really extroverted, so I love
Mm.
interviews. I
Yeah.
love making YouTube videos. I
Yeah.
struggle with Instagram, but I love YouTube because you
Yeah.
can just speak freely. So that's, and I think maybe one day, if I would, my dream is to host retreats. I think I would be good with managing groups and speaking with people.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and also creating recipes or recipe ebooks. I think that's my favorite thing. So creative and expressive and talking and teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst is technology.
Yeah.
I'm so bad. No, I hate it. Like, yeah, no, like all of that technology, I cannot. Yeah. So that's or also sometimes tasks that where I'm spending a lot of time alone without talking with anyone. Sometimes I feel a little bit isolated. So that
Mm-hmm.
would be the negative part.
Yeah. 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 It's good to know your strengths and the things you really resonate with. And I mean, obviously, it's going to depend upon your financial situation, but if you're coming into this with a little bit of a cushion, it definitely can be really helpful to outsource, right? And it's
Yeah,
amazing, amazing what you can do when you outsource. It's it's kind of funny. One thing that has been a little bit of a challenge for me, since we were talking
yeah,
before about challenges, is because I essentially like I had no money, and also like when I started, there wasn't like other raw food YouTubers or anything. Like I learned it all myself, like I
yeah,
really did, and so now I know how to do a ton of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I don't really like, but I know how to do it well enough that sometimes if I hired out, I'm afterwards just like I should have just done that myself because I
yeah,
could have done it better, and it took more time and more headache to try and explain what I want, so it's
yeah,
sometimes it's a little bit of a balance.
balance.
But if you have a cushion and you don't know what you're doing with certain things, or you just really don't want to focus on that, outsourcing from whether it's like Odesk or Fiverr or anything like that can be a lifesaver.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really curious. Like, this is still my biggest passion and dream to make it happen. But I think there are so many barriers to overcome, and it's also so much connected to, at least in my case, my personal growth.
Mhm.
So yeah, so especially the last month, I've been doing a lot of like personal development and like also therapy to break through some blocks. Like, because when you want to start a business, there are certain blocks that you have. For example, the first block is fear of being seen,
Yeah.
because you have to put yourself out there. And I was a little bit afraid of that. So that block I already overcame. But there's still so many blocks to overcome. But it's also the joy of it, the joy of the journey in a way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the thing. That's a huge shift that not only helps with kind of like entrepreneurship, but helps with life in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
is seeing those challenges as something fun to break through, as like a positive thing
Yeah.
rather than as like a huge obstacle that we can't really do.
Yeah. Exactly. And there were some comments. Do you want to
Yeah,
discuss them?
sure. Let's
All
go
right.
back. I
Hi,
saw a
Amy.
couple here. We see. So, regenerate on raw or regenerate now. What is the solution for glyphosate? I mean, my first one is not to expose yourself to it, not to use it. We're lucky here in
Yeah,
Europe. It's not used really here. In the
that's
States, it's
true.
used more. So that's a really tough one there for sure. I don't know the absolute best way. I've heard of different things like zeolite, or there's actually a thing I just heard about today that I don't remember the name of it. It's like a three letter thing that is supposed to help with that as well as the Jabiru, but I don't remember exactly, unfortunately. Do you have any insight on detoxifying from glyphosate?
I was talking how to detox it or how to avoid it. Wait, let me
Well,
check.
I mean, I
Ah,
guess
what's the
realistically, we
solution
could
for it?
do any of those. I mean, avoiding it would be not using produce with it, or using a really dang good produce cleaner. Although some people say you can't get rid of it because it might be
Yeah,
in the structure of the plant itself. But it's a tough one. I mean, I just
it's a
avoid the
tough
crops that are
one.
sprayed with it, and otherwise
Yeah,
peel. And yeah,
yeah. I think it
vote with your
depends.
dollar.
as you said, it depends a lot where you live. For example, in the United States, or also when I was traveling in Asia, I noticed a lot that some of the greens, they use a lot of like glyphosate and I don't know how to say in English, but the toxins that you put on the plants in order for them to grow bigger. So yeah, it depends a little bit where you live, but if you have the money or the chance to source organic, if it's possible, and I mean to detox it, I think to detox, the best thing that you can do is to eat a lot of fresh fruit and veggies. I think that's the best thing. And maybe if you really live in an area where they use a lot of things such as glyphosate, maybe buy more fruit that you can peel, such as banana, or oranges. Yeah.
And then grow your own greens, grow your own sprouts and stuff like that.
That would be the
Just
best
limit
one.
your exposure as much as you can, because that is a tough one. What do you do about mercury from root canals? I mean, I've never had a root canal. In general, I would avoid root canals unless it's like the only option, and probably better to pull the tooth and have a post put in. But otherwise, I mean, I did have mercury fillings from when I was a kid, and I had them removed by a hygienic dentist and replaced with composite. I guess porcelain's supposed to be the best, but it was like triple the money, so I went with composite myself.
Yeah, me too. I have also not mercury, but I think I have the plastic one or something.
The composites.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's also you do what you can. So there's always like right now I live in a city, so there's cars and people smoke sometimes in the city. So you just do the best that you can, and I think you have to find for yourself also a balance.
Absolutely.
With this lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I have something, a mantra of mine is was it consciousness over concern. So like being conscious of these things, but not being concerned about them, and doing what you can instead of worrying about what you can't do.
Yeah.
Because worry and fear and all that stuff has a big of an impact as, eating some of these things in a different way, of course. But, it's, I think it's really important to really recognize that. We have one other one here, at least. What if you flip-flopped a few times and now are eating meat, can you still switch to vegan? Of course, of course you can. It's I mean, you can always make a choice from right now. The only moment that there is right now. So, either you're carrying your past on your back with guilt and shame, or you're living from them now and making a choice now based on what you really want to create in your life, So compassion is always available for you at any time, whether it's for the animals or for yourself. And right now is the time to express it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that compassionate approach, to not go from a point of view where you think, oh, I failed and I failed and failed, but instead say, okay, what did work, what did not work, what do I want to do differently, and find out solutions that can help you to really switch to a vegan lifestyle. Maybe what is hard for you? Is it hard for you to be with friends? Then maybe work on that social aspect, or maybe build your own self-esteem in a way that you can say, okay, I want to do it no matter what people think of me. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, maybe the education isn't there, and then reaching out to someone, coaching or getting the bundle or anything like that to learn more so you can apply it in a healthful way. But it's always ways to do it.
Yeah, I loved it. I think the bundle is so amazing, and I think that's also super important, because in the end, knowledge is really power in a way. Because the more knowledge you have, the easier it is to stick with yourself and stick with your belief system. So, for example, for me, many years ago, I went to a doctor, and the doctor said I should start eating meat. And already by that time, I consumed so much ebooks and so much knowledge about the topic of veganism that I already knew, okay, no, meat is not the answer. And I think that's the power of knowledge, that you can actually follow your journey no matter what outer influence says.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can just streamline everything and help you have a running start. It's like I've seen people new to the lifestyle a couple of years in thinking like, hey, I found this secret way, and completely dismissing information from people who've been doing it for 30, 40 years, who have seen the ramifications of doing it a certain way for a decade. And it's like, okay, do you want to learn everything yourself and go through those hardships, or do you want to learn from the people who have learned from thousands of people's experiences, and helping them streamline for success? And I mean, that's a big part of the reason why I do what I do as well. Is I've really made it my mission to try and learn from everyone in the field and look at those who are achieving the results that I think are enviable and who have coached hundreds and thousands of people between all of them. And you start
Yeah.
to see parallels, you start to see things, like that just pop up. And it's like, we can get into philosophy and start like, living from philosophy, or we can come down to reality and see what
Mm.
actually works in the real world, right?
Yeah.
And that's why again, like the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, and also I want to mention too, because it is also linked in my bio, the Raw Food Mastery Summit with Drs. Rick and Karen Dina. So blessed to be a
Hmm.
part of that with 20 other speakers and even raw vegan doctors and stuff like that. And it shares that really key information from people who've been living this and studying it and consulting and doing blood work and labs, and have seen the trends and seen people come and go and seen people switch from vegan to not vegan, and can draw the parallels to make this a lot easier for everyone. So that starts on the 6th. I really recommend everyone sign up for that. That link is in my
Yeah.
bio. And they're part of the bundle too, with an amazing book that goes into smoothies and how to make them even more nutrient dense, and how to break down. They're really good at breaking stuff down into a really scientific, really easy to understand way. So that's cool. Andrea here is saying that she's a holistic dentist. We need more. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. Yeah, I think also what I wanted to say with Rick and Karentina, they're amazing. I went to the fruit festival, I think in
Yeah,
UK,
yeah,
and they also were there, and it was so much fun. They're more on the scientific side,
yeah,
but still they make it like they talk about it in a fun way. So even if
absolutely.
you're not so much into the nerdy stuff, it's still super fun, and they really give so much information, but in a super fun, cool way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they're self-professed nutrition nerds, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and they have fun reading studies. I do too, but I'm sure they've read 10 times the studies I probably have, because they've been doing this together, like two of them for,
So
if I'm
long.
not wrong, like 30 plus years each at least, maybe 35 or 40 years each. I can't remember at this point, but it's a long time.
Mm.
Regenerate Now is mentioning from a digestive standpoint. I'm guessing they're saying that with the
Yeah.
glyphosate. I mean, realistically, with any of those kinds of things, all you can do is come from where you are now and do the
Yeah.
things that improve your overall health and help you come back into homeostasis. And as Fruity Eva said, like, I mean, fruits and vegetables are the most supportive foods for our bodies: digestion, elimination, detoxification, and rebuilding.
Yeah.
So, eating more of those foods, certain foods like apples, actually, cilantro, spirulina, they have, distinctive properties to help like bind heavy metals and carry them out of the body.
Yeah.
So those can be helpful. There can be a heavy metal detoxification. I did notice that other question. There can be like a cilantro spirulina heavy metal detox protocol, which you can look up online and learn more about. But I don't know if that would necessarily apply to I can't even pronounce that properly. Glyphosate.
Glyphosate. Difficult
Yeah,
word, no?
some words they just don't go off my tongue. They just do
No,
not.
I
No matter
know.
what I do, it just it doesn't work. Oh, hey, Miss Yuli. So
Tricky.
awesome. I can't believe, you know what, Eve, I can't believe that we've almost been on for an hour already.
Yeah,
Can you
I was
believe
just
it?
saying, like we're
It's,
almost 1 hour.
I think
Maybe I
it
could.
feels like 20 minutes to me.
Same, same. Maybe I could ask you one last question, a really fun one. Like, what is your favorite fruit, and what is your favorite vegetable?
Oh gosh. I'm going to give the lame answer and then I'll try and give a better answer. Okay. So
Hmm.
my normal answer to this is whatever is in peak season and is in my hand. Because
Yeah.
it kind of is the truth. Like I've been in cherry trees picking the perfectly ripe cherry, and I've been in fig trees, and I've been under durian trees, and I've picked tomatoes, and all of those, like when I got them peaked, I was
That's
swear, like I was
amazing.
dancing and like, this is the best thing I've ever had. And like in my heart, I knew it was
Yeah.
true in that moment. Um, but if I really had to try and say, like, oh God, it's so hard. If I think for me, it might be between cherimoya and durian, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe Cempedak, but I haven't had enough experience with it yet. I only tried it twice now, and it is really good.
It's
But
really good.
I love those both. And I mean mangoes. My God, they're so damn good. And I mean, who can forget about tomatoes? I mean, if they're a fruit, but if we're gonna say they're a vegetable like we do in the kitchen, then I'd say they're my favorite vegetable, would be
Yeah,
tomatoes probably.
that's the
But
same
if
too.
we're going straight for vegetables that are really botanically vegetables, that is a tough one.
A tough
Um,
one.
it, and it's funny too, like, do we differentiate are greens vegetables or are greens their own category? Are they greens? Is that separate? So like, because you can separate those if you like.
That's
Are
true.
mushrooms vegetables? No, no, they're not, So if I was going to say vegetables, it's going to probably surprise some people, but it might be cauliflower.
Oh,
And
cauliflower. Yeah, I love cauliflower.
I love
It's
cauliflower.
versatile.
So good. Yeah, you can do so much with it, and
Yeah,
it can be fresh and crunchy for a dip. It can be frozen and thawed for a curry or a chili. It can be shredded up into rice. It's like it's so nice. You can even blend it into an ice cream. I've seen like cauliflower ice creams. It's crazy.
crazy.
Um, it's so crazy. And then if I was gonna say a green, maybe it's so tough. It might be Napa cabbage. I just love Napa cabbage. But
Oh, sounds awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
it sounds
in
great.
Miro, mushrooms are they're a fungi, which is a separate category, which some people say are in between plants and animals, and some even say they're questionably vegan. I don't go there myself, but they're the fruiting body of the what's it called? Mycelium.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're the sexual organs popping up and then releasing the spores.
oh.
But all fruit is sexual organs. Just so you guys know, all we're doing is eating sexual organs all the time on this diet. It's just like it's
Awesome.
pretty amazing.
Okay, I also want to share. So for me, my favorite fruit is durian, like for sure, cherimoya and figs. I think figs is just wow. And vegetables, I mean, of course, if you say avocado is a fruit, then not. But if you say avocado as a vegetable, avocado and tomatoes.
They're so good. They're so good. That is where it gets a little bit tricky, right? When
Yeah,
people say the word fruitarian, a lot of times they think like
is
just sweet fruit, but realistically, cucumbers,
no.
tomatoes, bell peppers, avocados, all these
Yeah,
guys are botanically fruits, But yeah, but even still, yeah, the leafy greens and all that stuff are so dang good. I love it all. That's the thing about this lifestyle. People think it's restrictive, but there are so many different varieties of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and you know sprouts and legumes and seaweeds even. All there's so much variety at your disposal. You can make so many things. And I know I'm gonna be just Dr. Pluggity plug plug plug, but part of the bundle. There's so much recipes in there, and there's so much inspiration, and there are so many people's different palates, ways that they enjoy it, and you never know. Like you start to think, like I've been
yeah.
chefing for a long time. I think like, oh, I got this stuff figured out, and then you taste someone else's dish, and you're like, wow, I never thought of that combination, or I
True,
never
true.
never used that in that way, or I don't like usually to have this much of a sour taste. I'm such a sweet hound, but sometimes when you have it, you're like, oh my God, it's so damn good. I can't believe I never used that, and
Yeah,
so it's so fun. And you
that's
can get it
awesome.
in Fruity Eva's link as well
I,
as mine
I
at
have both.
Rawadvantage. Sorry?
Both, that's true. And Ailey actually wrote a mango smoothie. Yes, that's true.
Mangoes are one of my favorites too. I mean, if it's kind of funny, right? Because like when you say what's your favorite fruit, and like I say cherimoya, it is true when I'm eating it. It's like the best. It's so freaking good. When
It's
you
so
get
good.
good cherimoya or atamoya,
Yeah,
oh my God. But I mean, I like mango just as much, but mango is even more versatile. Like I wouldn't really use cherimoya in a recipe so
no,
much because it'd be kind of a pain to
the
get the seeds out. You
it's
just want to eat it.
mm,
But mango, like, I mean, I can use it in a sweet dish. I can use it in a savory dish. I can have it just alone by itself, and I'm never
yeah.
disappointed, right?
I think what is so delicious is just mango, and you put it in a blender and you blend it, and so you have just mango. It is so good.
Insane, absolutely. And then add a
So good.
drop of vanilla or a vanilla
Yeah,
bean and mango vanilla,
mm,
or blend it with some orange juice, and it's the best smoothie that's
it's so
ever
good.
been. Or
It's so
blend it with
good.
tomato, and it's the best salad dressing you've ever had in your life. Or
Mm.
blend it with some avocado and a little bit of chive, and it's like mind
Yeah,
blowing. And oh my God, I could talk about mangoes all day. I'm so happy that mango season is just coming in.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, because like here I'm in the Canary Islands, and right now the season is a little bit low, but we're getting into it again.
Nice.
So right now we have more banana and orange, but we're getting into it again. Like now strawberries soon will come, so
Are
to
you
get into it.
pretty static there? Like, is that where you're living full time now, or are you just
Yeah,
traveling back and forth?
no, like I'm here and I want to figure it out how to stay forever here, or not
Wow.
forever, but yeah, I really like I lived here for 1.5 years. Then I went back to Germany, traveled around, and now I'm back here. But I love it so much. You
Well,
have to
once I
come
get my
visit one day.
residency, once I get my residency, I'm hoping by summer next year I'll have my residency. Then I'll be able to travel a lot more,
Yeah.
and that's high on my list to go for
It's
sure.
it's super nice. I love the Canary Islands, but I would recommend go to the Canary Islands in the in the European winter month. So
Yeah.
from September to April, it's the best
Yeah.
time. It's really cool.
I'm gonna do it because I mean I know it's good for fruit and surf and apparently decent for skateboarding at least. So
Yeah.
that checks all my boxes, you know. So
Yeah, I think you will love it. Like I would recommend to go to Tenerife. I think it's the most beautiful, or Gran
yeah,
Canaria. So Tenerife or Gran
I've
Canaria.
heard
Both.
Gran Canaria a bunch, but I had never heard Telenifa. At least not like sticking out. I've researched and looked at the different islands mostly for surf, and then asked people about fruit.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to explore it. It's among the highest on my list to explore in Europe.
Yeah,
So,
it's fun
and
and
it's just such a
it's
blessing that it's
the
an EU, that it's a part of the EU.
exactly, yeah, you don't need I mean, once you have your residency, I think you don't need a visa anymore.
No,
So
yeah.
super nice.
Yeah, technically,
Mm.
once you have your residency, you could move somewhere else to another EU state, but Sweden's my home base. So,
Oh.
but it's nice to be here and then travel. So that'll be amazing.
Yeah, like here in the Canary Islands, there's so many people from Sweden in the winter month. Like so
Yeah,
many people, they stay for a couple of months and then in the summertime they go back to Sweden.
yeah.
So many.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could definitely see that. But t time will tell. I'm here now, and we're
Yeah.
rocking this bundle, and it's a joy to be here right now. And I'm excited that you're enjoying it so much out there. I know other people, Jesse and Rennie, are around out there. Are they anywhere near you?
Yeah, they're like relatively close. Like they live 20 minutes from where I live by walking.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you all out there. That'll be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Then that was the video for today, right? Or
Sounds good to me.
yeah.
Is there anything else you feel like we should go into, or
No,
we didn't have any
all
new
my
questions that I've seen either? So,
all my questions were answered
oh,
perfectly. So thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me and for going into this fun subject. I hope a lot of people enjoyed it, and also just thanks so much for being a part of the bundle in the past and this year with your cinnamon buns. Definitely excited that you are, and to go live with you and everyone else here. So I hope everyone really enjoyed this again, and that you check out the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. You can go to Fruity Eva and grab it through her link or mine if you like, and I hope you absolutely love it.
Okay. Bye. See you.
Guys, till next time. Much peace, love, and seasonal fruit. Oh, I'm still alive. How embarrassing. I'm looking at this. I thought I closed it. Hope you guys enjoyed.